Now joining me on the Peerless Boilers hotline, Peerless builds America's best boilers, is the former head coach of your New York Football Giants. That's Jim Fassel. Jim, Zach Gelb here, TalkUSA.tv. Thank you for joining me, and how are you this evening?
That's good to be with you out here in Colorado Mountains with my family.
Well, that's great to know. And I was actually at lunch yesterday at Harold's Delicatessen in New Jersey, and I was looking around at all the names on the wall and all the pictures, and I saw the names of Carl Banks, Boomer, and Carter, and I was thinking, where's Jim Fassel's name and picture up at Harold's Delicatessen? Did you ever happen to eat there when you were time with the New York Football Giants?
You know, I don't think I did. A lot of restaurants I ate at, they wanted a picture or sign something, but I ate a lot of great places, but I just don't recall that right now.
I can tell you right now, those portions were huge yesterday. I'm still stuffed from yesterday's lunch. But let's get to the game this week. Big matchup between the Giants and the Cowboys. And last week, going back to last week's game, Brandon Jacobs had some pretty controversial comments at the conclusion of the game to Rex Ryan. If you were a coach in that situation, how would you handle that situation when a player came up to you and said those kinds of things that Jacobs said?
Well, you know, I always hesitate because you don't know. Sometimes you got the whole story. Sometimes you don't have a little bit more of the background and some of those things. You know, it's an emotional game. It's an emotional game. And I always try to warn the players. It's an emotional game. We all get emotional. There can be controversy down there. Let's keep our focus on the opponent and what we have to do. Suggestions that are constructive, not at the moment angry.
And, you know, looking at this week's game, the Giants, they just had a big victory, very exuberant win up against the Jets, and the Giants have had letdown games in their past. How do you stay focused this week, and how do you get those guys to ignore the noise, especially with the New York media playing a big role in this game, hyping this one up?
Well, yeah, I mean, you can't, I mean, if nobody said it, you think the players are going to understand this one's hype. And I think that, you know, there are games that the media hype, and it gets the players going. If every player on each team isn't gunpowder ready to play the best game they've played all year, regardless of what the media makes it, then they shouldn't be playing the NFL. Now, the responsibility of the coaches, to me, is to keep a lid on it all week. I mean, there's going to be a lot of media around, a lot of questions, a lot of things being stirred up, and as a coach, the main thing is keep your teams focused. Don't let them get hyped. You know, the worst thing that can happen is, you know, Wednesday, your first day of prep, they're out there going full speed and hitting each other and jumping up and down. They're just using up a lot of energy. Let's just go about our business as usual, take it day by day, step by step, let the emotions build, and then you don't, you know, so to speak, just lose everything before you get to the game.
And a lot of stuff being heard on WFAN and ESPN in New York this week is that the job of Tom Coughlin really depends on the outcome of this game. Do you think Coach Coughlin's job depends? Do you think he'll be fired if he loses this game, or do you think Wellington Mara, the Maras and the Tisches decide to keep him aboard if he does lose this game?
That's really not mine to answer at all. I mean, I think at the end of the day, I think John Mara is one of the smartest executives in the league. And a great, you know, just a great person that way. It'll be the body of the work. I don't think if they lose the game, it's going to be that one game. I think it's going to be, you know, we didn't make the playoffs again. That's a bigger picture that he would look at. If they win, then, okay, we got in, but, you know, how did this whole thing go? So it's larger than that. It should be. Now, is it with other teams and at other times with teams? It becomes an emotional decision, yes, but that's not the way you build a franchise.
Now, I'm looking at your body of work, and it's quite impressive. You got the Giants to the Super Bowl. You rejuvenated Kerry Collins' career, and you hear all the names being thrown out right now, Billick, Cower, Gruden, Fisher for head coaching jobs. Do you have any desire to get back in the game and become a head coach again? Because I thought you should have got the job in Washington. I thought it was unfair how they treated you there. So do you have any desire to get back into the coaching game in the NFL?
Well, you know, I've had offers over the years as being a coordinator and things, and, you know, I love the job I have in the United Football League, and we won 2 out of 3 championships and been in all 3 championship games this year. Marty Schottenheimer beat us. But, you know, listen, we all do what we want to do. The first 3 names you mentioned are all on television, and that keeps their name out there big time, keeps their name out there. I want to coach. I'm coaching. Jeff Fisher's done a hell of a job. He's only been out 1 year. Jeff's done a great job, and he was also very powerful voice in the competition committee and those type of things. So, you know, I'm fine. I'm enjoying life. like Marty Schottenheimer told me, Jim, this is the greatest job I've ever had. This is the most fun. And we enjoy it. So, but if the situation presents itself right, I'd definitely sit down and talk to whoever that might be.
We're talking to former New York Giants football coach Jim Fassel. And Jim, let's go to the game. Tony Romo, he has some hand problems right now. How tough is it for a quarterback to play with the busted up hand?
Tough. It's tough. When I played, and it was many, many moons ago, don't get me wrong, I broke a finger, and the next game I couldn't play. Now, he didn't have a broken hand, but he takes that, and his hand's swollen. The gripping of his ball, it can't be good on Wednesday, Thursday. I mean, he can't come back that quick. Unless it was very, very, very minor, and they were very, very cautious. If he had a pretty significant injury to that hand, he can't throw the ball much. And, in the cold of Giant Stadium, and it's not supposed to be too bad of weather, but it'll be colder than it's used to. If he starts getting rattled around and hits that hand a little bit, it's going to affect his passing game.
Well, we know Tony Romo isn't definitely at a full percentage of health. The Cowboys are without DeMarco Murray. He went down. Felix Jones isn't as healthy as he was in the beginning of the season, and he's been struggling with injuries. With that being said, with injuries at the quarterback and running back position, do you see the Cowboys coming out in this game heavily on the run or heavily on the throw?
Well, I think they're going to try to establish the run, but I don't think they're going to be dumb tough with it either. I mean, I don't think they're going to run first down, second down, and throw on third, and come back first down, second down, run, throw on third. They're going to mix it in there. But I think that what they're going to have to do is they're going to have to establish a run attack. And they might have to be a little stubborn with it. If it's not going, well, then don't run away from it. Just start throwing the ball on first, second, third down. Because that helps protection. It helps time on the clock. Your time of possession, all that stuff. It's pretty hard unless you got a Tom Brady, a Drew Brees, and Aaron Rodgers standing back there, and you say, I don't care about the run because this guy here is dynamite. Everybody else is going to have to get a run established to win a game.
Well, last time these two teams played, Jason Pierre-Paul was an absolute monster. He had a career game. He was sacking the quarterback, making open field tackles, and he actually had the game-winning blocked kick at the conclusion of the game when the Cowboys, where the kicker was iced, and then they went back at it again, and they missed it. How did the Cowboys try to contain Jason Pierre-Paul this week? It's not an easy task to slow down this Pro Bowler.
No, you're going to have to chip in. You're going to have to know where he's lined up. You either have a tight end lined up over there or a back coming out that's not the primary receiver. And if the back is not the primary receiver, he can generally chip his way out, shave the edge so he doesn't get a free rush inside. Now, if they run a line game and he does a twist and he goes inside, well, then you can't get two guys on him unless it's the guard and the center right there and they jam up the inside works. That's the only way you can do it. But you can't let him run free one-on-one. Now, there's not many people in football that block him.
Jim Fassel joining us on the Peerless Boilers hotline. Peerless builds America's best boilers. Here with Zach Gelb on TalkUSA.tv. And, Coach, a few more questions right before we let you run. Last time these two teams played, Eli Manning didn't get off to the quickest of starts. He was down 12 points with 5 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. How did the Giants try to generate a little bit more offense early come this time around up against Big D?
Well, yeah, I think so. And I think there's always, I always laugh when somebody said, I think it's important to score quick in this game. It isn't important to score quick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, if we can score quick, I'd do that in a heartbeat. You got to come out and you have a philosophy. Maybe it's attack them downfield right away. I don't know. Maybe it's really stubborn and run. Whatever it might be, you still have to get a flavor of what the other guy's thinking. You can tell that. Usually, you know what to expect by his numbers, what he's done. Now, what's the call been on 1st and 10 or 2nd and 8 or after a big gain? Is he going to blitz it? You get that feel, and then it's going to be a chess match, and you got to do some adjusting. And so, I just think that each coordinator on each side is going to have a plan to find out some things he wants to establish. I want to see how he's going to cover three wides. I want to see how he's going to cover a 3-1 set or a 2 tight end, 2 back set. I want to see what he's going to be looking like.
And then you also look at it this way: DeMarcus Ware is such a prolific pass rusher, and then Rob Ryan is very notorious for blitzing quarterbacks. How does that change your preparation when you have such a dynamic player like DeMarcus Ware, and then you go up against Rob Ryan, who's just a blitzing fiend type of coordinator? How does that change your preparation as a head coach and what your offensive line does?
Well, I think you gotta watch how many protections you're carrying into the game. Okay. they're moving a bunch of people around and they want to come from all different angles, like the Pittsburgh Steelers do or the Ravens do, and some of that stuff. Well, then just limit your protections. You don't need all the protections. If you've only got 2 passes out of 1 protection, why are you going to make all your linemen and your backs and everybody spend all week how we adjust to pick up this? If you've only got 2 out of 80 passes for that protection, eliminate the protection, eliminate the passes. You got plenty of them. So simplify the protections, and that's not hard to do, and it really doesn't take away from your game plan. And then spend a lot of time this week on walkthrough basis, who's got who, and then there's other ways that we can spend a whole show on how you simplify what they do. They can jump all around and stand on their head and change jersey numbers, and you can still block them.
The one thing that has really impressed me so far with this Giants offense has been the dynamic duo at wide receiver. As Victor Cruz has almost 1,500 yards on the season. He has 7 touchdowns. He did get snubbed out of the Pro Bowl. And then Akeem Nicks has been very dominant when he's been healthy on the field. Talk about these 2 wide receivers for the New York Football Giants.
They've really shown up. And, they helped each other. I think Eli Manning, from the times I've seen him play, and I'll get to see him play, he's having a terrific year. Maybe his best year. I think his best year. He's still been a little shaky at times, but I think his receivers have done a great job for him. They've made plays for him, and I think Eli has made them look really good, too, by placing the ball where they can get yards after the catch. And they just seem to have a good chemistry right now. And that's usually what happens when a quarterback has great numbers and a receiver has great numbers. They've just got that chemistry. Each one makes the other one look good.
And I know you don't want to get caught up in personal accolades and the main goal for a team is to win the Super Bowl each year, but Victor Cruz did get snubbed out of the Pro Bowl. He definitely had the credentials to get in. As a coach, is that something that you would pull him aside and talk to him about, or you just leave it be when a player doesn't make a Pro Bowl?
I'd say something to him, but I wouldn't want to make him feel, hey, you know what, you got robbed. No, I'd say, listen, hey, you know what, there's a lot of good guys in this league. I think, personally, you've had a great year for us. And you know what? It gives you a goal to shoot for in the future. Okay? It gives you a goal. So it would be a positive for him, but I think you really hurt the young man if you start complaining like, you should have made it. I mean, maybe you got robbed. They voted for this guy. Well, then he starts feeling down and all, yeah, and he starts feeling like somebody cheated him. You don't want to feel like somebody cheated him. You want to say, you got a lot of time left, buddy, to get better and better and better. And being in that hunt and people thinking that you should have made it is a feather in your cap. Now, it's team first as always. Well, let's go get this game to Sunday, and then we'll work on the rest of the year and the rest of your career.
Last one, as we're talking to Jim Fassel, I know your son, John Fassel, is a coordinator out there in Oakland, and they could possibly still get in the playoffs with some help from a Denver Broncos loss. They face San Diego. I would have to imagine you're watching this game come Sunday in the mountains.
Well, you're right. I've got the whole family up here in Breckenridge, and we rented a house. And the only way I'd rent the house is if they bought the NFL ticket for the remaining games. We can watch them all, and we're all here. But I'm really proud of him, boy. Their special teams this year, the Raiders' special teams has played special. I mean, even last week, they blocked 2 field goals and got 2 field goals and had a big old punt return. And he's doing a good job with those guys. And his punter and kicker are both going to the Pro Bowl.
And you also look at it, sorry to throw one more question right at you, Janikowski, he has really had some career. I'd have to imagine, I know it's very interesting with kickers going to the Hall of Fame. Do you think that this guy Janikowski has the credentials to get into the Hall of Fame when his career is all said and done? Because he could really make some long kicks. It's impressive.
Oh, I do. I think both those guys have the potential too. I think, and Janikowski, I've been out there training camp a couple of times over a couple of years. He's really a good guy, and he really is. And he's that guy you want as a kicker. You got a big kick for him to make. You just look at him and nod, I got it, and then go out there. He's not not anything else. And Leckler is the same thing. He's just, he can boom that ball like I haven't seen many people. And they've worked on his angle kicking, and he's improved in that. The guy can do so many things with the ball.
Coach, thanks so much. I appreciate it. Enjoy the movie tonight and have fun with your families out there in the mountains. And best of luck to John coming up this weekend.
Thank you very much. Great to be with you.